Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Alexis Peterson,
What's up, y'all? I'm Aisha Sheppard
and this is Off the Court.
on the record.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's go, round two.
Finally, it's been a minute. And now I got the lights. Y'all can
Yeah.
hear me good.
Just a little, knocking off a little rust. That's
Yeah.
okay.
It's been a minute though. I know we both have had a crazy overseas season. Like I know we've been talking and yeah, you've been through a lot, but how has it been to, kind of get to understanding like the business aspect of playing overseas? And I think a lot of people misunderstand that, like, yeah, we go overseas to make money and to play a game that we love, but like there's a whole business aspect to it of like they expect you to kind of be like superwoman, you know and there's an unrealistic expectation at times, I feel like. So what are your thoughts about that? How do you feel?
Woo, navigating that aspect was a journey, and you still, like we just talked about, like this season was crazy for the both of us. But again, you get to see a different side of what the business is actually like when you go through a season like what we just went through. And yeah, so for me, I would say it's been a lot of highs and lows learning the business. It can benefit you, and it can also leave you feeling a little bit stuck or just regretful in some aspects, if that's the right word. But this year I think I saw truly how much it is that you have to prioritize yourself and you have to speak up. And honestly, I know we'll get to it a little bit later about contracts, but um there's a lot of research that needs to be done prior to making decisions. And I think that is one of the things that kind of gets swept under the rug. Like, you actually need to do your research. You really need to know if these people are legitimate. You need to know the ins and outs and know what you're signing yourself up for, before you just jump in a situation and kind of have some of the years that we had this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that, a lot of times, like, the basketball community is small. So a lot of times we know certain people who have played for a certain organization that wants us. So we'll send them a message or we'll hit them up. That's normally where we get the basics of our information from. But like, I agree with you. I was put in a situation where I was talking to somebody and they told me everything went fine for them. And, you kind of got to have a little bit of wiggle room. Like, that sometimes things aren't going to work out for you the way it worked out for other people.
Right.
Get the gist of the situation and you feel like you'll be okay, and then it's a completely different situation when you get there. Like, I feel like that's probably the hardest part to like manage, because when you're in it, like there's no going back. So I think doing your research is a really big one, but at the same time, like, that's what we pay our agents for too. So it's like, how much research can we really do? And then that's another thing. Like, agents, sign you to certain places contingent upon, other things that they have going on in the background and vice versa. It's all like one big chess match, honestly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted to touch on something you just said about, like, you can talk to other players, you can hear their experience. And like you said, there has to be some wiggle room. And I found out, like, this year, you may think you know until you actually get there, you don't really know. And when
Mm,
you experience it for yourself, sometimes it aligns with what other people say, or sometimes it could be like far better or it could be far worse. And I think for me, this season I experienced the other end of the spectrum where it was far worse, and it was really just an eye-opening experience more than anything.
yeah, for sure. In what way, though, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
giving the.
absolutely. So, without saying any names or stating the obvious, I just played for a team in Turkey, and a reputable team, a team known for, competing at a high level, having big money, things of that nature. And the few people that I did speak with, because I'm also a person, I don't want to be like overloaded talking to too many people. Like, I think maybe 2 to 3 is my max, and then after that, I have to make that decision for myself, and I have to get that experience for myself. But with this particular team that I just finished playing for, you can hear the reviews, right? But until you're literally in there like every single day and that becomes your reality, it is incomparable to what they would have told you or what they told you to expect. It was a like a mind shock. Like I had a total cultural experience that I was not prepared for.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was your first time playing in Turkey, right?
Yeah, it's my first time too.
Yeah.
So eyes
Yeah.
wide open. Yeah.
Turkey has done some damage to myself and a lot of people that I know. Like, uh, and don't get me wrong, like, if anybody's listening and they want to go play at that level, I highly suggest everybody go experience Turkey for themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great competitive league.
Great competitive league. I mean, if you want a shot at the W, if you want a shot to be able to play Euro League, Euro Cup, like I definitely suggest going to Turkey. But I also suggest, like Lex said, doing your research because come to find out, there's only 3 teams that can actually pay you the money that these people say that they have, and it's because they're government funded. Impact, Orman, and Botash are the only 3 teams that can actually pay you, no matter if you're winning, losing, whatever, because the government pays their salaries.
Dropping gems. Wait, I need you to run that back. Because I think that's going to surprise quite a few people from what we know or what people's reputations are. Can you please repeat that? Like, let's hit the rewind.
There's some top teams. Yours was included in that I thought was like, okay, if you make it here, you're gonna get paid, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
3 teams: Botash, Orman, and Imlak from Istanbul that will actually pay you on time the money that you signed for, bonuses included, all the things, because the government backs them. It's not just people saying things and presidents buying teams and saying that they have money and they don't.
Or you
Because
mean like washing money through like companies and very
so I sat and did a lot of research on the back end while I was, because I switched teams. I ended up going to China, but this is 2 years in a row where I went to Turkey for the first half of the season and had to because I wasn't getting paid properly or on time or treated fairly. This season was a season where I really was like, I'm going to put myself first and I cannot continue to be in these situations because I'm gone for far too long and I'm a bucket for real. I do what I'm supposed to do.
hold on. Click that. Click. I'm a bucket for I do what I'm supposed to do. Let's put that on a t-shirt.
Thank you. Because y'all know me. But I found out, like if you just continue to drive through Turkey and like Istanbul, Mersin was a place, you see a lot of like esthetician type of places, like nails, eyebrows. I found out that a lot of these presidents will wash their money and whatever they're doing through those types of places. Like overall, Turkey is very very different. And the people are different, the culture is different, and it's a big huge adjustment outside of like the basics. Like the food is different, language barrier, but like person to person, people to people. Um, from what I've been through, and I'm speaking from personal experience, Turkey is a place where I have to take a hiatus from. Like I will not be back for at least the next 3 or 4 seasons. Like it's been a lot for me to adjust, and I'm normally not one to just completely back off of a challenge, but like I almost lost myself trying to play in a place like Turkey.
I definitely think it's a like you said, there's so many beautiful things, and that's what any country that you go to. So obviously, we're not discouraging viewers from anything of that sense. Just more so speaking on personal experience and what a lot of players have been able to share in those sentiments with you. I think another thing, and this is kind of like a sidebar, but I just feel like it's going to flow. And you spoke about having a hiatus from Turkey. And I feel like now there's this conflict, and I don't know if you feel this also, but the amount of countries that you can go to and maybe have a short season like Turkey, you have a lot of WNBA talent that is now coming to Turkey because they pay well and they have a shorter season and there's no conflict between those two.
Mhm.
Um, Getting paid good money, having like all these things that are comfortable for our 9 months or playing at a high level, whether that's Euro Cup, Euro League. There's kind of like this conflict now because the amount of places to be able to go to, I feel like now is slim
Yeah.
compared to maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where it just felt like the market was booming. And I feel like there's been like this shift in the dynamic and how Turkey is like loaded with this money that you just told us about. And sometimes it's 50-50, but the competition is high. The opportunity to be seen is also high because of that connection to the WNBA. How do you feel about that? And just in terms of like the amount of opportunities, being able to make good money and play at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're still there, and I think that they'll continue to grow, especially now with the W trying to, make sure that all of their players are back at a certain time. And
Yeah.
then you have Athletes Unlimited, then you also have Unrivaled now. So I feel like a lot of those older players, like we played against Tina, we played against Gabby, some of those players I think are going to end up staying in the States and not anymore, which gives us more opportunity. And I think there's more room to make demands. Like I feel like it's been a well, we can replace you. But now we're starting to become those top tier players where it's like, okay, you're not getting these W players anymore. So you have to respect us, you have to pay us, you have to put us in situations to where we you want to win. So you gotta pick us up. So I'm hopeful in that aspect, but then I'm also kind of like, well, what if they don't respect us in that because you don't have that W tag, even though we most of us, but um, I don't know. I think I'm hopeful because I do think that we will have more opportunities from it. Um, but it's still kind of scary because we're in like this weird shift of like women's basketball overall.
Yeah, you can feel it, right? Like it's so evident. It's so
Yeah,
evident. Yeah.
and I know like there's people who, I know that you have a passport, a European passport, and I know that there's a lot of people that want to get one, but now I'm starting to feel like it may not even be needed for you to get the money that you want because there's so many people that will end up staying, especially now after this CBA is finished and you finish voting on it and stuff. I feel like that's really going to change a lot for a lot of people to not even have to come over here anymore. Well,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And then you got to think you're going to add in two more WNBA teams next season. So that puts the total at what is it? 15 total? 15 total. So that alone, and then with the new league unrivaled, everything is just opening up for us. And I think that's a big point that you said, that we may not even need dual citizenship. Like this felt like the key, or like that ticket out a little bit, but like now the dynamic is completely shifting. It
yeah,
is, yeah, we've done a complete 180. So I don't know. I think it'll be good for us. Also, I think another thing that is also changing is just, like I said, the amount of teams that can play at a high rate. There's
yes,
like rule changes, like Turkey is now changing to where you can only play with three foreigners on the floor at once and two Turkish players. That, like, those type of things will shift the way that, we're being scouted, we're being recruited, because now it's no longer about, let's just get all these WNBA players in here. We'll get the best foreigners and then roll out the red carpet. Like it's
yeah,
gonna be a lot more picking and choosing. And I think you can compare and contrast, like, who maybe like us, who don't always get the best opportunities, or we gotta, continue to grind, continue to pull our way out. Like maybe, it'll shine a little bit more light on that also.
yeah, for sure, yeah. And I think like you made a good point just about like the different rules and stuff that are implemented when you go overseas. Like I think a lot of people just think that they see, us playing on the same teams or against each other and that it's all, it's basically us and then it's the rest of the team. No, you still have to figure out how to play with the naturalized players of the country. You still like it's not just, oh, you got six foreigners, everybody can play at the same time. That's not how it works. I mean, China was like the biggest difference for me. You can only play one foreigner in the fourth quarter. So a lot of times they would go with size. So I would have to like do my work in 3 quarters. So that's a whole extra 10 minutes that I don't get of playing,
Right.
So you still want to play the game, like you still want to be a good team player and stuff like that. But I had to learn how to like start out early and not just kind of wait for the game to come to me. And so that was different. I mean, I played well, which was exciting, but it was definitely different. Like okay, I only got 3 quarters to do what I'm supposed to do because he's probably going to want a post player in so that we could get some rebounds and stuff like that. So, um, just overall, like the landscape of basketball is changing, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Um, but it's scary. It's scary because, like right now, I know you have other things that you're doing, especially with your dual citizenship. But like somebody like me, it's exciting because we're basketball players and stuff like that. But there's a lot of waiting that people don't know about. Also,
Yeah.
right? Sitting at home, I'm working out, but you're working out to make sure that you're ready for the next opportunity. But you don't know when that opportunity could come. Like my agent could call right now and be like, "It's time to pack. You gotta go." Or they could be like, "Oh, you'll have a job in August."
Yeah.
It's just it's a waiting period for a long time. And it's difficult. What we do is difficult. Like it's like we're freelancers, right? Like
Absolutely, like entrepreneurs. Just sometimes we link up and play with other people, but we're like trying to run a business, the business of you. That's what I feel like it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you mix that in with trying to see family, you mix that in with trying to have time for yourself, you mix that in with having to call your agent every day to make sure your paycheck come through
Still haven't
or your
been paid by
bonus.
still haven't been paid.
That's
Still haven't been paid. Yep.
speaking of haven't been paid. So a lot of people, some people know about this, some people don't. But I actually had to, so I had to sue the first team that I was playing with in Turkey. Still waiting on that situation to finalize. I haven't heard anything. It's been over a year, probably, but
That's
that's the first
weird.
that got us here. With the whole statement I put out. So that's still happening. Then I went to Tarsus to play, and I ended up having to, which I wasn't going to sue regardless, but in order for them to clear me and give me my FIBA clearance to play in China, I had to forfeit my right to even sue for the money that they didn't pay me for playing. So the money they owed me, plus the other money that they owed me. So, a large sum of money on the table to kind of, just have faith and go to the next place because you don't know. And then another thing was I ended up choosing to go to China because I knew that their season would finish in enough time to play in a training camp if I were to, get a call.
Yeah.
But the other option was to go to Spain and play for Avenida and play EuroLeague.
Ooh.
And like we're making some real life decisions. Like
Yeah.
it's fun to play basketball, but there's some stressful moments that make you really question if this is something you really want to be doing for how. And it's a long road for 8. Like it feels like 8 years when you're over there.
That's so good. And I need to speak on that too, because what you just said is it makes you question and like how hard these decisions are. And when I switched teams also mid-season because I wasn't getting paid, I was injured at the time. I had to make a very, very tough bet on yourself type of decision and choose to wait and just get the right opportunity while I was hurt. I hadn't played in about a month and a half, almost 2 months. And I finally decided on this team. And a decent part of that decision was obviously the money that I would be able to make for 4 months. I don't think like a lot of people would turn that down in that short amount of time. But there was a moment that I had, and it was exactly what you just spoke on, where I sat on the couch after the game and I was on the phone with my fiance and I was literally in tears. I feel like I made the worst decision of my life. Like I was like, why did I put myself in another bad situation? Why did I make this decision? Like I was so like full of regret. It was just like, and I just needed that moment because I said for whatever reason God has planted me here. Like I'm being planted, not buried. That's something that I try to keep saying. I'm being planted, not buried. So I am here to learn something. This is supposed to get something out of me, but like you do have that moment where you start to question like why did I do this to myself? Like did I choose this because of the money? Did I choose this because it was a good opportunity? Like what was my thought process? Because how I'm feeling right now, I'm feeling like why did I put myself in this situation? And that was a tough pill to swallow after already coming from another bad situation. So that was just like absolutely overwhelming. It was absolutely overwhelming. And once the season was over, like I could realize why I went through that. Like life is lived forward and understood backwards. So
Mm,
in order to understand what you went through, you have to continue to go forward. So I'm proud that I did not give in. I wanted to leave that team quite a few times.
yeah.
But I didn't. So I was just like, I know there is something that I will get out of all of this, and I'm grateful I stuck around.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's powerful, and I'm grateful you did too because you, I know you got that dog in you, and whatever comes next, I know you ready, and that's I feel like that's how we are, you know, like we don't let a lot of things kick us and keep. We'll take the punch, we'll reset, we'll cry about it if we have to, but that next day we wipe them tears away and we continue to fight on because that's all.
Yeah.
It's only us that are in these situations. Like we have our friends, our family, our people, you know what I'm saying, that keep us grounded. But at the end of the day, these are the decisions we got to make for ourselves. And honestly, there's nobody there that can help you. Like I know that we have agents and stuff, but like at the end of the day, they gonna get paid regardless. They got other clients regardless. Like this is our life, is our decision. So I'm proud of us.
Proud
And
too.
there's so much
We
that we
survived, big dog.
there's so much like to uncover that I feel everybody just kind of needs to understand what really goes on and the developmental side, the mental side. I'm sure you've been seeing what's going on in W. People getting waived left and right, but the same thing happens overseas. Like if you're not performing, mind you,
Come on.
not performing to them is like not averaging 30. Like, can we be so for real?
Like, can
Like
we be so for real? Like,
there
make
are
it
some
make sense.
I'm not gonna name names, but there are some W players, some stars that come overseas and cannot even average 10 points a game.
Clock it.
So you
It.
got players like us averaging 14, 15, 16, 20 a game.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's really cooking. Because in between that month, we had a 30 piece.
Right.
We
Yeah.
had a 5 piece. We had a game winner. We had a
Yeah.
game winner rebound, assist, da da da. While, because ain't no space out there like it is in the W. They
Mm-hmm.
help off the corners because we don't
Right.
have no. So we scoring with about 5 people in the paint. You know what I'm
Triple
saying?
team. Triple team.
Teaming, hard hedge,
Come on.
uh,
What you talking about?
mouth, no foul. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
Draped on. I'm
hello,
getting hugged. Okay.
you got
Hugged.
the call your agent talk about something. We lost by 1 point. We want to figure out what's wrong with her. Did you pay me?
Ooh.
Are my lights on? My water hot?
Okay. Right. Because I'm not volunteering. I'm not volunteering. I'm not volunteering. This is not, I said I don't work for free. This is not volunteer work. This is not charity work. I am an employee. You're going to pay me if you want that performance. Okay. And if I don't have no Wi Fi and haven't talked to my family in a week, I'm very tired tonight, coach. Sorry.
Extreme.
I just feel overwhelmed. Can't make it into practice today. Sorry, but got a flat tire.
Then the craziest thing is like you experience going into practice, doing what you're supposed to do, and the coach is fine, the GM is fine. They don't say nothing to you, then you get home and your agent call you, talk about something. They want to know what's wrong with you. I was just with you, bro.
Ooh, well, wait a second. Well, let me tell you something that actually happened this year. I was approached because I was forced to open a bank account against my will, took my passport, signed and opened the account for me. And my agent tried to advocate on my behalf and say, no, she doesn't have to do that if that's not what she wants to do. I was then approached, called from someone from the team, how you're agent this and you're agent that, and this is what everybody does. And I'm sitting there like, you know what I mean? Where he's like, what? I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like things that are completely out of bounds. Completely out of bounds. And
there is no rules across them waters.
you
Like,
ain't
oh,
find
you have
out.
a contract. No, it doesn't matter. whatever they want when they want to do it.
And that's the harsh reality. There's it's I think the hard part is that it's so much good that comes from what we do and like the things we get to experience. Like even you playing in China, like I think that's so cool. Like and I
Mm,
feel like that's something that more people are becoming more attracted to. But there's certain parts of this business that I think it's our job to shed light on as well as highlight those other things because we don't want people to go in blindsided, right? Like we all have to learn and experience for ourselves, but the more we can help educate and shed some light, the more prepared somebody else can feel that's going to come behind us.
yeah, this honestly, we want this to be like the blueprint for the next generation to like be able to go back and listen to it and understand that like they're not alone. Other people have been through it, and to just help. Like throughout my career, I've had little gems given to me. Like everything that you want, you got to put it into your contract. Like if you want a car, you got to put it in there. If you want to be paid on a specific day, you got to put it in there. If you don't trust that the team is going to pay you
Yeah.
before you get there, they got to send you a month
Something,
something.
something, some type of show of good faith, something. Down payment, okay? I don't buy nothing without a down payment.
Hello. Yeah, it's a lot, but I'm grateful that we get to help. I know that's the reason why God brought us together again to do this. So um
And we locked in, y'all. We back.
we back. We
We
back.
we back. We had to. It took us some time. We had to figure it out. We're still figuring it out, but be patient with us.
Yeah, facts. We were figuring out during the time that we decided to do this, we were not aware of, I was going to be leaving Turkey, Lex was moving to Turkey, so it was a lot going on top of trying to get through some pretty difficult situations. We're back. Both have had some time to be home. We're just gonna keep kicking it. This is the raw, the real, what goes on.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. And that is a wrap for episode number 2. And stay tuned. Stay locked in with us. This is Off the Court on the Record.
Let's go. See y'all later.